Good evening. Good evening, Muscatine, and welcome to our city. We are so excited to bring this program to you, and thank you so much for joining us. We have taken this opportunity to share with you things that we think that people living in Muscatine need to know and want to know, and that will make all of our lives easier and make us be able to access some things that maybe we didn't even know about. So tonight we have a special guest with us, Christy Corpy, the City
Hi.
of Muscatine Solid Waste Manager. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right.
That's the official title.
Good. We are so lucky to have you because you are going to be embarking on a new stage of your life in a few weeks.
I am. I'm getting ready to retire.
So exciting.
We are quite excited in our house. So.
It's kind of like you're getting ready to go for a vacation, and you get all excited and think, I bet that's how it feels.
Except you don't have to do your laundry and go back to work then
and
on
pack.
Monday.
Yes. Oh, how much fun is that going to be? It'll be great.
Thank you.
So I always have a gab of people call me, write me, email me with questions about spring cleanup week. And I remember last year and the year before, there were a few changes made. And already people are talking on social media saying, well, can I put this in? Can I not put that in? And what can I do? And what are everything I ever wanted to know? So
Right.
you get to be our very first guest, and we're so excited to have you. And we'd just like to hear, when is Spring Cleanup Week this year?
Spring Cleanup Week is next week, April 23rd through April 27th. And you'll put your spring cleanup treasures that you want to get rid of out on your regular trash day.
Okay.
So we ask people not to put things out before 4 p.m. the day before, but at least by 5 a.m. the day of your trash pickup as well as your spring cleanup pickup.
So if my day is on Thursday, I shouldn't put stuff out on Sunday. I should wait until Wednesday night, no earlier than 4.
That would be great.
Okay.
That would be great. And your neighbors would appreciate not looking at it all week. And your fellow residents would appreciate not looking at it all week. And it still gives us plenty of time. You're not going to be missed if you're out by 5 a.m.
Sure. Is there any rules about people going and taking things that other people have put out on the curb?
Well, the saying is, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Okay.
And if you can do it safely, without disrupting or breaking other items,
Then it's okay.
it happens.
Okay.
It happens. We don't encourage it, but
we
it
don't.
happens.
Okay. And I suppose you'd rather have someone else have it and use it than take it to the landfill.
Particularly with appliances,
Sure.
there's money for people there. We understand that, it helps people out if they can pick up an appliance or two.
Sure.
So absolutely, or if there's something you can use that your neighbors discarded,
Why not?
right.
So what kind of things can people put out?
Typically acceptable items are furniture, building materials in small amounts. So think of the back end of a pickup truck. That's how much building material you can put
Okay.
out. 8 foot by 4 foot by 2 foot, 8 foot long, 4 foot wide, 2 foot high, up to 4 appliances. So during spring cleanup week, there's no charge. You can put your 4 appliances out. If you've got a fridge or a freezer, please remember to remove the door. It's just a safety precaution. And then any other miscellaneous trash you have, your old weed eater, your old vacuum that doesn't work.
Okay.
Those pillows on your bed you don't want to look at anymore, a bag of clothing,
Okay.
any other trash item that you would have for
Okay.
disposal.
What are the things that they can't put in there?
No car bodies.
No car bodies. Do people try that?
Apparently in the past
Oh,
it's
wow.
been tried. So no car bodies, no huge root balls from a big old oak tree or a large section of a tree.
Sure.
No excessive amounts of building materials or concrete. And then no refrigerators from a camper.
Really?
Yep, because the coolant is different. So we will accept those at the transfer station for a fee, but you aren't able to dispose of them at no charge. Because
So do they have like Freon in them? Different than a refrigerator?
Right.
Really?
A different coolant,
Okay.
and it escapes me now. But that's why we don't allow those to be put
Okay.
out curbside.
So they still can bring them in, but there would be a small fee for that?
Right,
Okay,
right. There will be a fee for that.
all right. Do they look like the little mini fridges that you have for college?
No, you
No.
would know
You
if it
would
came out of
know.
your
Okay.
camper. If you've taken
Okay.
your refrigerator out of your camper and you
Okay.
need to bring it to the transfer station,
Okay.
not put it out the curb.
Okay.
So, right. The other, you mentioned changes that we made last year. We made a couple of changes last year, and one was that we will still accept tires, but we'd like people to bring them to us at the transfer station.
Okay.
And each household's allowed to bring 8 tires. Typically, we don't ask for proof of residency, but if you've got a Muscatine car with a Muscatine plate, our staff knows a lot of people.
Sure.
But if you're from Fruitland, you're also eligible. We might not
sure.
know you, bring your ID, bring a piece of mail, bring your driver's license, and then residents are allowed to bring 8 tires, and then also electronic waste.
Which 8 tires seems quite liberal.
Right? I guess
Yeah.
if you've changed your tires on
On
2
2
vehicles
cars, sure.
over the course of the year, that's kind of where we came up with that number. And then 5 pieces of electronic waste, computer monitor, television, VCR, those types of
Okay.
items. Same thing, we're not going to pick those up curbside, but you can bring them to the transfer station at no charge. And as you pull into the transfer station gate, the building on the left, there will be signs, big signs,
Telling you where to go.
tires and electronic waste.
Okay. Okay.
So it worked well last year.
Uh-huh.
We have staff there to load and actually unload. We're not loading anything. And then it helped the residents out, and it also kept control over perhaps somebody who's not a resident dumping tires in a neighborhood.
Sure. Sure, that's true. People could have came from neighboring towns and just put them out at somebody else's curb.
Right,
Sure.
right. Or in the wee hours, put a few out in an entire neighborhood.
Oh, wow.
So we saw a reduction. Previous years, there were up to 6 semi-trailer loads full of tires, and last year we were down to 3.
Oh, that's
So
better.
significant reduction, and we're happy to help the citizens. That's what we're here for. But I don't think anybody has a problem with us not servicing other communities or
Oh, no.
perhaps businesses that
Sure. Sure.
took advantage of the situation.
Right. And I know they're so helpful down at the transfer station. It's not a problem. My little refrigerator here in my office here at City Hall died not too long ago, and I had to get a new one. And so my husband loaded the old one in my car, but then he's gone during the day. But I thought, well, I'll take it to the transfer station myself. And it was so nice because I could just pull up and they unloaded it for me, so I didn't have to lift it at all.
Right.
It was quite easy to do, even if you aren't strong enough to lift that kind of thing.
Right, right. And that, we do that year-round. So if your fridge dies and you want to bring it to the transfer station, the difference being, during spring cleanup week, if you put it out on the curb, we don't charge you the fee.
Okay.
But the other 51 weeks of the year, if you're bringing us an appliance, we're going to charge you $10 for that
Sure.
item. And then TVs, depending on the size, if they're under 18-inch screen, it's $10, and if they're over an 18-inch screen, it's $15 during the year.
And that's because you have to do a different type of disposal for electronics, right?
Right, right. We're not making a profit.
Sure.
And the same thing with appliances. We're not making a profit, but we pay for them to be disposed of properly.
So you're just passing that cost on.
Right. We pass it on to the citizen.
That are
and-
actually using it.
Right,
Instead of everybody having to, in the city of Muscatine, having to incur
right,
that.
right. Because those items don't go to the landfill. They go to, electronics go to a demanufacturing plant, and then appliances go to a scrap yard that uses the metal.
Do you think there's some misconceptions about spring cleanup week? Anything that you can think of that people typically question or are confused about?
Well, I think sometimes there's a little question about volume, like, can I clean out my rental house and, will you accept that much?
Sure.
And that it's really not designed for that. It's designed for our citizens to get rid of their old sofa and their vacuum that doesn't work, and perhaps they've got an appliance, but not massive quantities, not entire households.
Sure.
I just think it's really not fair to the city to incur that cost if it's a rental unit.
Well, sure.
Right.
Well, I've heard you before give some numbers about how much you actually pick up on spring cleanup week. And I don't know if you brought any of that with you today, but I remember just being astounded at the overall amount.
I should have looked up the tonnage from last year. I apologize.
It's okay. I didn't ask you to, but I just remember it's huge.
It is huge. It's overwhelming, just the amount of trash we generate. But I do remember, the tires, we did 3 semi-truckloads full last year.
Full-size semis?
Right.
Wow.
A 53-foot trailer. Electronic waste, I believe we did 2.5 or 3 trailer loads of electronic waste also. But I'm sorry, I don't recall the
But you
tonnage.
have trucks going every day. How many trucks?
Well, all the garbage trucks are out, and then also the street department has their crew out.
Every day?
Every day. Yep, Monday through Friday. And sometimes we don't get it done in a week. We don't get it done in 5 days. And be patient.
Okay.
You'll
get it.
Right. If you look around and all your neighbors' stuff has not been picked up, then your neighborhood hasn't been picked up yet.
Right. Now, if everybody's has but yours, then you might want to give a call.
Right. 263-9689 is the phone number at the transfer station. So
I also think it's important for the people in our community to realize that what a wonderful service this is, because every city doesn't have this, do they?
You're right. You're right. So I'm relatively new to this role, and one of the things I did was look at comparable cities that were our size. Mason City, Clinton, Burlington, Fort Dodge. And it's pretty unusual, the service of having spring cleanup week as well as 3 curbside pickups a year.
That are free also.
That are also free, as long as it's trash. Again, if it's an appliance or if it's a TV, we'll be happy to pick it up at one of your 3 curbside pickups. But the only week a year it's free is during spring cleanup. But it's pretty remarkable service that we have for a community our size. Many cities do a bulky pickup service, but not an entire week of it, and then not 3 curbside pickups in addition to that.
Sure.
So we're fortunate.
And it's so handy, just to touch a little bit on the 3 times when you can just call. I know we had a large TV to throw away once. And you think, oh, well, I've got to run down there and pay, and I got to do all this, but I didn't. All I had to do was call and say, we have a large TV, we're sitting it out on the curb, and they let me just pay with my card over the phone, and it was all taken care of, just easy peasy.
Right, you can do that. You can pay at City Hall.
Yes.
You can pay at Public Works on Washington, or you can pay at the transfer station in advance.
So it was easy. It was all relatively easy for us to just take care of it, and to be able to do that 3 times a year and then have an entire week to have everything be free is really a service to our community.
It is indeed.
And I know it's a lot of work for you and for all of the arrangements that you have to make.
It is, it's a bit of a logistical hoop jumping
exercise
exercise for all of us, and the street department crew and the solid waste crew, they put in some long hours those days.
I know, they've got to.
And we have temps that help at solid waste, and there are temps that help at the street department. And everybody's up early and out on the streets, and be mindful of the trucks.
Oh, yes. As they're going through the neighborhoods, pay attention, and the guys out there throwing everything up in.
Right.
They got to be exhausted.
Right. It's not a job for me, I can tell you.
No, me either. I'll make the phone calls arranging it.
Right. There you go.
Yes, that's right.
There you go.
So is there anything else that you can think of that the folks need to know?
I just would like to remind people that we also take household hazardous waste. So you've got cleaners, you have muriatic acid, you have stripper, you have paint, those types of things. We will take those year-round at the transfer station at no charge.
Okay.
And we prefer that you not throw your full can of paint in your trash can, because obviously it then gets compacted by the compactor, and we have paint all over the street. And we have paint all over the truck. So, and the same thing with household hazardous waste. We really don't like the chemical reaction going on there.
Sure.
So people can bring those things to us at no charge year-round. Medical sharps, another thing, if you're a diabetic and you have your medical sharps, typically people use laundry jugs. Great.
Is that okay?
It's perfect.
Our granddaughter's 10, and she just got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes after Thanksgiving. And we keep trying to think of different things and find out, you know, is this okay, is that okay? And we were doing the glass jars, but somebody brought up, but if you do a glass jar and it gets thrown away, then if it breaks, then there you go. But, you know, like a Tide bottle.
Yep. A Tide bottle, any kind of a plastic.
The hard plastic stuff.
With a screw lid that you can screw tight and then
And that can go in your regular garbage.
No.
No.
That needs to come to the transfer station.
That needs to come to you. Okay, I'm glad I asked.
Yep,
Okay.
there's no charge for it.
Right.
No charge for it. So we see lots of diabetics from around the community on a regular basis. And it's just great because they're safely disposed of and protects our staff out on the street.
Well, that's what we were wondering. So we have not thrown any away. We have jars.
Right.
So we can just bring those to you anytime.
Right. Anytime, Monday through Saturday. So we're open, our normal operating hours are Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. till 3:30 p.m.
Okay.
And then Saturdays we're there from 8 to noon. And I'll mention that about the tire and electronic waste. If you're bringing something, that first Saturday, which would be April 28th, we'll also be open from 8 to noon. And then the following Saturday, which would be Saturday, May 5th, will be open 8 to noon. So people actually have 2 Saturdays to bring their electronic waste or their tires
Oh,
at
that's
no charge.
even extra then. That's great.
Yep.
Or any of those days through the week.
Any of the days through the week, absolutely.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
So
Good to know. The other 2 questions that I get frequently are light bulbs.
bring us your light bulbs.
Oh,
bring us
and
your fluorescents.
Your
and
fluorescents, they can go, do they need to be taken down or can they go in your garbage?
Need to come to the they need to come to the transfer station. Again, they're another item that we don't charge for. We just don't want them in the trash. So people bring us CFLs and LEDs and regular light bulbs and fluorescents.
So all of those can be brought down?
Yeah, it's easier just to bring them all to us than to sort them.
Okay.
So
the other one is batteries.
And batteries, right? Good job.
I get these phone calls and I'm like, okay.
Right. So we get household batteries. We'll also get cell phone batteries or like tools have battery packs. People also bring those to us.
Like the drills and stuff.
Right, your drill, your cordless drill, those types of things. Absolutely.
So those, can they go in your regular garbage or we need to take them down?
Batteries need to come to us.
Need to take them down.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So, yeah, that's great that you remembered that.
But then on the weekends, even you can do yard waste anytime. We don't have to do that just when you're open. Is that correct?
So the compost site is now open.
Yes.
Compost site typically opens mid-May and is open until mid-December, and it's always weather permitting.
Okay.
But we did open this year on St. Pat's Day, the 17th of March, Saturday, and we're open Saturday from 9 to 6, and then every other day of the week from noon to 6.
Okay.
So residents can bring us their yard waste, their grass clippings, their tree branches, those types of things. And those also are, you're able to have them picked up curbside. You can use the city lawn waste bags if you have grass clippings or, compost or whatever, leaves from plants or whatever. You can use the city yard waste, and then we'll pick them up at your curbside.
Okay.
And those bags can be purchased at either Hy-Vee or Fairway.
All right. And they're what, $1.50?
$1.50 a bag.
$1.50 bag.
Right.
Okay. Otherwise, you can take it for free and drop it off yourself.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But sure, for the people that would have a hard time taking it down, that's convenient.
Right. And then sticks, if you have sticks that you have bundled, we just kind of ask that people have bundles no larger than 18 inches in diameter and no longer than 4 feet in length.
Okay.
And this gets a little confusing because we pick those up, we being solid waste. So those get picked up in the curbside pickup. But the street department also picks up big branches on Fridays.
Oh.
But they require a call. So if you've got a great big branch,
Came down from a storm or something.
right,
Sure.
you can call Public Works at that number is 263-8933, and they'll put you on the brush list for Friday.
Okay. I didn't even realize we did that service. That's great.
It is great.
Yes.
They won't do it during spring cleanup week, so
Well, of
hang
course
on
not.
because they're going to be busy picking up
Yes,
spring
they are.
cleanup stuff
Yes,
on
they
Friday.
are. Oh, that they're going to all be exhausted and need a pizza night or something after that.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Christy, for
You're
coming. We
welcome.
appreciate it. I
You're
know
welcome.
everybody's going to get a lot of questions answered from
Great.
her. So.
And they can look on the city's website. There's all kinds of information there on
Okay,
the
good.
city Facebook page. And it's also in the Voice of Muscatine papers.
Okay.
So,
Very
thank you.
good. Thank you. Can we get the flyer up there for people to take a look at, and they can see all of the dates and the lists and everything they need to know? All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much for coming, Christine. Enjoy your retirement,
Thank you. I shall.
as I know you will. All right. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. We're a little windy, huh? 5 to 6.
Our next guest that we're going to have coming up is going to be Kevin.
Well, great.
All right. Thank you, Christy. Now they can't hear us talking? Yes. Yes, we also have some Muscatine photos here, and we'll get that flyer up on Spring Cleanup Week here in just a few minutes when we get that in line. But we have been asking people in the community. We just started. You know, this is our very first show, so please bear with us if you see anything out of order, or us talking when we shouldn't be talking, or not smiling when we should be smiling. Please give us the grace tonight, because this is our first show. But we're asking around for folks to send us some pictures of the wonderful things they see in our community. I know I have a couple of Facebook friends that go for walks in the morning, and every once in a while they show the most beautiful sunrises. And it just always makes you think how fortunate we are. One of the special treats that I always think of is when I'm driving down Iowa Avenue towards the downtown, and all you see at the end of the street is the Mississippi River. And every time I do it, and I was born here, so I've done it many, many times, and I hate to say I'm in my late 50s, but I think every single time, how lucky am I? How many people get to live in a community and this is what you see? I mean, we're like blocks from the Mississippi River. There's nothing between us and it, and you can just sit there and look at it.
Amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing. And we went to Alaska a few years back, and we were with there was another couple there, and they were all excited because they saw a bald eagle. And they're like, oh, look, it's a bald eagle. And they were trying to get pictures as quick as they could and running over to look it out. And I'm thinking, we see bald eagles almost every day. And how lucky are we?
We are very lucky.
We are very lucky. Well, I'm so excited. We have Kevin here with us, Kevin Jennison. He is the City of Muscatine's Marketing and Communications Director. And he is right up there thinking outside the box for all ways that we can get information about the city out to the people of our community so that they know all the events coming up. They know about road closings. They know about construction. They know about events. They know about Parks and Rec. And they know about Spring Cleanup Week and everything else. And I can't imagine what a daunting task it is to have to take all of this information and get it out to the people every day. That's got to be a big job. I can't believe you do it by yourself, Kevin.
Well, it's fun.
I
mean,
bet it is.
It's kind of what I grew up doing through the newspaper business,
Yes.
and it's just something that I enjoy. And every day it's a new challenge, and that's what we all want. I mean,
bet it is.
It's you were talking about the view down Iowa Avenue, and although I've only lived here a couple of years, I have traveled up and down the Mississippi River,
sure.
Driving the river roads and things like that, and I just cannot think of a better community that has a park or a river landscape than Muscatine. There's just no place along the riverfront, and that really is something special and something that we, Muscatine residents can take pride in. And like you said, the views coming down the river are just majestic. The view coming over the bridge from Illinois that's the one thing that really made me realize when I first came to interview at the Muscatine Journal was that Muscatine was going to be my new home. It was just so awe-inspiring, and you know, people who lived here for a long time may not get the same reaction that somebody like myself, but maybe that helps me because it is so new to me, and it's an experience that I want to enjoy as long as I can.
It's so easy, I think, for those of us who have been here forever to take it for granted. And I think we need people to come to our community and recognize the wealth of fortune that we have here.
Yes.
I think we need you to awaken it in us. And so I think there's room for all of us because we
Most
need
definitely.
that.
Yes.
We need that. We need to see it through other people's eyes. Like the lady with the bald eagle. We need those experiences so that we know how fortunate we are to be here.
And that's one of the things that we are all working hard towards is
Absolutely.
We have a great community. We're working to make it even better.
Yes.
Attract the young people to come here to live. There are just so many opportunities to work. We're creating more opportunities for them to live here. It's a slow process, but I think once these young people do come here and start taking up residence, they'll see the value of this community as opposed to some other place that's within a half hour here or more.
I think so too. Well, thank you, Kevin, for coming today.
No problem.
I know that you would like to share with us some things that are coming up that are going to impact our daily lives, whether it's some construction things, some road closings that we're going to need to know about, and just give us, if you will, a general outlook on what the construction schedule is going to be looking like as we're moving into spring, we hope.
At some point it'll get here before summer, but the first thing that we can mention, and it may already be over with by the time some people see this or not, but 8th Street 8th Street from Iowa to Sycamore is down to restricted travel. They're replacing a private water service, so they do have to eliminate the parking in that block and have individual lanes. So if you have to travel 8th Street, make sure that you have plenty of time in your morning commute and your evening commute. They are supposed to be done by Thursday. This time of year, with the weather and everything, you just never know, but let's hope so. We all know that Mississippi Drive is now closed from Chestnut to Broadway, doing some really interesting things down there. Some things that when they looked at it over the winter and kind of looked at what was good, what was bad, just a few little changes, like the moving of some signs to make it easier for the semis to turn.
Sure.
some of the other things. They're just moving some of the brickwork around and everything. It's going to make it, it's still going to be that gateway into Muscatine that we want with all the trees and the horticulture and the brickwork, and just that beautiful avenue that really ties in well with the river to the downtown. MPW is down there putting up the lights, which I know was a concern to some people along the bluffs, but I think once they see them and how we're tying the history of Muscatine into the riverfront and to Mississippi Drive, is going to be rather unique.
I love the period lighting.
It
Like
is.
you say, coming across the bridge, looking over to Muscatine and seeing those lights
Oh,
all
yeah.
down the river. It's amazing. I love it. And I love all the period lights downtown.
Those are our little pearls. That
Yes, and
keep
especially
flickering.
at Christmas time, when we have our decorations on them, it looks very, very pretty.
And if nobody's ever experienced Muscatine from basically the first weekend in December, when we have the walk and the stroll and everything, and through Christmas, and I mean, it's just a unique opportunity
It
there.
is.
But Mississippi Drive itself will be back open before the end of the month. It's only going to be closed 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
They're making great strides, river depending. What do they say? Pray the river don't rise or something.
Brian tells me we're not going to have a flood this year.
Well, that's
That's his plan.
that's a distinct possibility with as unusual of a winter as we had, or unusual spring. I did notice that there is a little bit of rise in there, but nothing that we experienced last year in the summer. So the section from Mississippi Drive from Iowa to Mulberry should be completed sooner than later. They've already started raising the level, which I think people will find fascinating, how high the roadway is actually going to be. And then we get around to 2nd Street, and right now they're working on the section from Orange to Oak.
Yes.
Is scheduled to be done, weather permitting, by May 9th. And then they will move to the Oak Street intersection. And basically, depending on where they need to work, the section of road from Oak to the Dollar General, or Family Dollar store, excuse me, will be basically closed while they do all the work around the railroad and all like that. But hopefully we'll have all that wrapped up by the middle of September. So that just leaves whether we have a roundabout to put in place or not. And I think that discussion will be coming to the council sometime in the near future.
I would think.
Just have to wait and see. So.
Sure. Is there construction going on other places in the community?
I think MPW is still working on Bidwell out by the
Yes.
bypass. They still have some work out there.
The potholes, I know they're going to start working on. I know. Well, they've been trying to work on some of their list. And one thing I just wanted to remind our guests that if you do see potholes, you can go on the website and there's a list. You can put the address of where it is, and they'll get to it.
They will. They're doing a very good job. And fortunately, even though we're having a forecast of snow on Wednesday, but
I know.
it's still, the pavement is getting warm enough that, and the weather temperatures are getting better, that they can switch from the cold patch to the hot patch, which is a more permanent solution to the potholes. And I think later on this summer, Brian may come before the council with a plan to deal with some of the bigger problems. So we'll have to see how it goes.
I don't know why it seems like they're worse this year. I don't
Well,
know if
they
it
tell
was
me
the
it's
weather or.
Yes, they tell me it's because we had such an extreme cold winter where the temperatures were below zero for an extended period of time.
Yes.
Which is very unusual for this area. And just the combinations of those cold temperatures, the moisture that we had, some of it near record snowfall for the weekends, some of it. That was what really caused a lot of the problems. And So it's just a matter of identifying them, and we do need the public support. So.
And we need the public to let us know.
That's right.
I think it's easy for people to assume that we know there's this huge crater in the street, and you know what? Everybody's busy doing their day-to-day tasks. They really may not know, and so the first thing you should do is let somebody know.
That's right.
And it can be me, it can be you, it can be go on the website, pick up the phone if you don't go on the computer, but you need to let somebody know so they can address it.
That's right. If we don't know, we can't put it on the list.
That's right. That's right. So is there anything else coming up? We do have the job fair. We have the job fair coming up on Wednesday, actually next Wednesday, not tomorrow, the next Wednesday, April
Approaching
25th.
very fast.
Yes, from 4 to 6 at the high school for youth to attain a summer job. We have a lot of employers lined up, and they are desperately in need of youth to work for them this summer, and it's a good opportunity.
And I would encourage all parents to talk with their youth, and really, if they don't have a job, not thinking about a job, but just go to the job fair anyway, see what's out there to explore the possibilities. It's a great learning experience. You're going to have to need to know how to do this on your own eventually.
Sure.
So even, if you're not going to apply, just go, talk with these people, find out what's out there. And like I said, the parents really need to encourage their children to go. I mean, it's a great thing.
And even if you didn't get a job, which we're pretty hopeful that whoever goes would be able to get one, but I always think that it's very important just to fill out an application, talk to an employer, interview, fill out learn how to go out and acquire a job, because people all need to know that their whole lives.
That's right. It's a life learning lesson, and one that they will use many years down the road, as we all know.
Learn what's appropriate in an interview, how to talk, how to dress, what type of mannerisms and language to use. You don't sit there and chew a big wad of bubble gum the whole time you're talking. As somebody who interviews young people, I can tell you there's sometimes I'm just amazed at some of the behavior in an interview, or the dress, or texting, picking up their phone and answering a text, and these are skills that they have to be taught. They
do.
Yes. So anything else besides the job fair coming up? We have the spring leaf.
The spring leaf pickup actually ends this week.
Right.
Don't know if it'll be extended because of the weather or not, but there's always the opportunity that if you have leaves in your yard that you really can't collect yourself, just call the Department of Public Works, and they could be out there with the leaf truck.
Oh, sure.
Throughout the summer,
and they'll accommodate if they can.
They will accommodate if they can.
Will.
Just don't complain on social media.
Oh, that doesn't get you very far.
Doesn't get you very far.
Unfortunately, you don't get results that way.
Right. But if you pick up the phone and call, I'm sure that Brian and his staff out there will be more than accommodating. We heard Christy talk about what all they do for spring cleanup week, and that really extends throughout the year. I mean, if there's something out there that a resident can't do themselves to clean up or anything, we can find the resources for them to do that. So just give us a call.
Yep.
We do have Memorial Day coming up in May, which is always the big opening for the aquatic center at Weed Park. Maybe if the weather cooperates.
I know. I was out there yesterday.
It's quite amazing. I took many pictures out there with the snow-covered bushes and everything.
Oh,
so
yes.
I'm waiting for the rose garden to come into its glory later on. But and then after that, we have the 4th of July, and I'm sure you're going to have Kelsey Brackett on at some point.
Yes.
And I'm sure he's going to want to promote the soapbox derby again.
Oh, yes.
So, that is, from what I understand, it's going to be bigger, better, and more enjoyable.
I think so.
So.
And he's looking for pictures. He's looking for people to go on the Facebook page and add some pictures. I went on last night, and added one of my dad in the Muscatine Soapbox Derby in 1948.
Wow.
So I don't know if I was the first picture on there, but I did get in there and get one in there. Well,
That's
thank
good.
you so
You're
much
welcome.
for coming, Kevin. We've got a couple of flyers coming up here we'd like to share with the folks. And I'd like to say that our guests next week, April 24th, we're going to have Melanie Alexander from the Art Center. You and I have talked many times, Kevin, about our wonderful treasures that we have out there, and Melanie's going to give us some good information that we're all going to want to know. And also Jody Hansen with the Convention and Visitors Bureau is going to tell us about some of the summer things coming up. We're going to have second Saturdays
Yep.
coming up right before we know it. So we're going to be able to talk to them next week and get some good information. But why don't we get to some of those flyers? And I don't know if we have any pictures yet, but we're certainly asking for our folks at home to send in any gorgeous pictures of our city that we're so fortunate to live in.
And if
Thank you all so much. Yes,
If you have
Kevin.
anything to email us, I think, I don't know if it's up on the screen or not, but it's ourcity@muscatineiowa.gov.
Yes, our city at muscatineiowa.gov.
Be sure, if you have
Pictures, comments.
anything like that, just
Yep.
send it to us. We're more than willing to look at them, and
Suggestions
know.
for guests.
That's right.
That'd be another one. Yes.
We may even call you to be a guest.
That's right. That's right. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you next time on Our City.